There we are. What was that?
Long time no see, Paul.
Long time no see. Yep. All right. Yay. Here we are. This is the chart for midnight, folks. We had the launch on Tuesday morning at 3 a.m. And it is basically where it started at the moment. Who knows? Let's see what the 5-minute chart says, just out of curiosity. You can see what that first bit of time was all about. So it did open up right out of the gate. It started at, what is that? The low, open was 1 cent. And from 1 cent, within that first 5 minutes, it went up 1,500%. So that's a 15x. And then it equalized back out again, settling down within 2 hours. Is that 2 hours? Is that the right low? Looks like it. Yep. Within 2 hours, it settled back down to a low, 78% down from the all-time high. And ever since then, it's been bouncing around, consolidating. From the time that it hit that low, 3.4 cents, yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was up 157. And then it's come back down and settled basically right where I got it. I got it on the Tuesday night there. Somewhere in here. It's basically there again. No, Audrey, you were saying that you just bought some and you bought more than I was able to. So I must have bought it when it was like in here somewhere.
Yeah, I bought it at 103.103.
Yep. So there we have it. That's the price action on night since its launch. And definitely good to go get. Was it easy enough, Audrey? With that video, you were able to follow along easily enough, or were there any big hiccups?
No, it was awesome. It was really easy. I just got to the night though. What were you doing after the night?
Oh yeah, after the night, that's when we went into the liquidity pool to get the night working for us, so that the night can earn some interest. Yeah. So let's go over to MinSwap. We can talk about that real quick. Inside MinSwap, this is where you do your quick trades. This is the DEX. So you just connect your wallet, and I got my wallet connected up in the top right there. And it'll let you know what tokens you've got, and you can swap them back and forth right there. But if I were to, if going into earn up in the top there, in that menu, there's the liquidity option. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what this does is it brings up the opportunity to enter liquidity pools. And so right now, I pooled a little bit of ADA, 3256 ADA, and 298 night. And so my pool shares right here, I'm 0.0025% of the entire pool. And that is earning right now. So where do I go? That's the question. Let's go liquidity night. Can I go? Oh, here, add more. There we go. So I would add more in this case here, where I can click on how much ADA I've got. I'll do it just for argument's sake here. I'm going to click max. So the max that I can go, even though I have 13 ADA in here, the max I can go is 7.59, simply because there's always needs to be, I think it is 5 ADA that needs to be in there, just for the sake of keeping it in there. That's like a minimum balance, so to speak. I'm going to be swapping that out for some night. Going to get 69.93 and custom ratio. I don't even know what this is here. Let's go see. No idea. Oh, that's if I wanted to adjust the ratio, ADA versus night. So I'm just going to deposit ADA. That's what I see what I'm doing. Yep, there it is. So this is the total, the amount that I have, 13 ADA. 7.59 ADA will go into the ADA pool. The other 69.93, which is the other half of the full 13 ADA, that 2,522 night is that's how much I have. That's how much night I have. I'm going to put that in. If I were to go with the night and click max, I would imagine Yeah, it's going to need 273 ADA, and right now I don't have that in there because I already got the night. So max the ADA out. That's how much it is. Ready to add liquidity. Click. It says you're adding hair. Oh, there's a policy update. Lace says hair. Looks like there's a transaction about to happen. I click confirm. Put it in, and that is. Ask no. There we go. That is all it takes to add liquidity to those pools. Now that pool, this is what I don't get. Where was that? Let's go to the market here and just see if I can find another way to look at that. Because what I'm looking for is the... Oh, here we go. Here's where you can look at the pools. Under market. Got it. So under market is where you can look at the pools. So I'm looking at the night ADA pool. This is the distribution of the night and ADA that is in that pool. You can see it goes up and down. People are just testing things out. But this is what I'm interested in right here. APR. So right now, when I first got in, it was when there was a lot more volume. So when I got in, this APR was sitting at 64%. I didn't expect it to stay there. This will fluctuate back and forth. But right now, at this moment, that pool of ADA and night that I have running is earning 37.71%. And that is that those rewards, I don't even know how often those rewards are released.
So, Paul, couple
Yeah.
of things that what is the night? What in TradeView? Which night would I pick? So
In TradeView, yeah, good question. I picked night with. Yeah, let's go back to that. I picked night with Tether on KuCoin.
Okay.
And the reason why is because a lot of these other ones are US based. Oh, KuCoin is US based as well. But a lot of these other ones don't offer services to Canadians. And so the only one that I really do is KuCoin. I want to make sure that the pricing data that I get on TradeView matches the price data that I would get if I was on KuCoin. And then, and to add that to your watch list, that's up in here. This button right here. Oh, my mouse pro is not working, but I'm up in the top right there. That's where you can get the watch list, and you click on the plus button next, just up there in the same corner.
Yep.
By clicking the plus button, you can then select a coin, and I already got it selected, so I can't, but you're going to see the ability to hit that plus button. And that plus button will put it in the list so you can quickly reference it.
Unless you have too much, right? Unless you have too many.
Yeah, I think on the free account, it's a maximum of 30 on the watch list.
Mm-hmm.
But there you have it. Now, the big thing that I wanted to chat about today is actually back over on midnight.network. Hey, Maureen. Good to see you. I want to talk about Midnight. This was a good question Audrey Lynn had earlier today about, I want to understand more. She wanted to get a clearer picture of what this was about. And I get it. When I watch Charles Hoskinson talk about this, or if I'm watching other commentators on YouTube talking about Midnight, I'm following right along. But that's because I've been a part of the conversation within blockchain around privacy, around our freedoms and exercising sovereignty for quite a while now. And so I get it. When people are watching Charles, it's almost like it takes a while to get used to his cadence and the language patterns that he uses to conceptualize and even contextualize his vision, his goals, and what it is that Cardano now stands for as the world's largest decentralized autonomous organization. What is Midnight? We're fresh out of the gate here, and it's not at $1 million market cap. What's wrong? This is why. This is why Midnight is such an important component of blockchain. Web3 promised freedom. Midnight restores the original promise of crypto. The network is a fourth generation blockchain built for rational privacy. Ian, you and I chatted about that, I think it was, or maybe it was on Next Gen Merchants, how it is that the language, the programming language for the smart contracts on ERC20 use JavaScript, which is a plain language-based model programming language, whereas Cardano, Midnight, they use Haskell, which is a mathematical, rational language. So there's very little room for misinterpretation. In fact, there's no room for misinterpretation. No one should be forced to choose between utility and privacy. This is huge. Yes, blockchain as it is right now with the ERC20 contracts, they are incredibly utilitarian. They work very well. They're very user-friendly. The barrier of entry to enter the space is low. But it comes at the cost of privacy. Midnight's architecture enables everyone to verify the truth without exposing their personal data. That's the zero knowledge proof protocols. All of the data that you have can be encrypted entirely. And one of the things we're going to be covering in the next week or so is how to create your own keys for other types of data transfer, not just cryptos. We do that with our wallets, but I'm going to show you how you can do it with your own community's chat program. Like people gravitate towards Telegram and Signal, and I've never really liked either one of them because I recognize just how vulnerable our data is on those apps. Even though they talk about how they're end-to-end encrypted and all that stuff. It's not true. It's not true end-to-end encryption like what we can have with blockchain or these physical keys. Now, to conceptualize the mission of this entire ecosystem of people who recognize how it is that the laws can assist us in securing and safeguarding our equity and our life force energy and the value that we have with people we contract. And there are three main areas we talked about last night. We even talked about how one of the areas of freedom that are non-negotiable is the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech. Well, we're going to go through this. It's in here. We got freedom of association, freedom of commerce, and freedom of expression, all built into this as is Midnight as a catalyst for us to exercise these freedoms. It's not like Midnight is giving this to us. We have this unalienably. Now we can use technology to exercise it and observe it in our own lives. So freedom of association, connect without surveillance. You can own your own vote. You can verify the outcome of any vote. And all the ballots can be made and kept secret. Because there's zero knowledge proof. Yeah.
What is this a website that you're scrolling through right now? Or
yes, this is the Midnight Network website.
Okay, and what's the actual URL for that? Midnight.io or?
Oh, midnight.network.
Ah,
I'll throw it up on a banner here. There we go, midnight.network.
Very good.
Yeah, what a great domain, eh? All right, so freedom of association. You own your own vote. No, vote. Next one, own your identity. How we were talking about how we need to have proof of reputation. That's what that says also. You have to own your reputation if you want the proof to be accurate. Prove your credentials so you can automatically authenticate your credentials, similar to a high-rise building that has a state-of-the-art security system where you got to use a fob to enter the door. Use the fob. There's an identifier. There's a digital identifier inside that fob, and it logs that entry inside the database for the security company so they know exactly who's going in and out. Imagine being able to prove your credentials, but keep your personal data off chain. So imagine the building scenario again. You're scanning the fob, but behind zero knowledge proof protocols. The security company still doesn't know who opened the door. They know the door was opened, and they also know that whoever opened the door has the credentials to open the door, but they have no idea what those credentials are. They have no idea the identifier behind those credentials. They don't have anything on you whatsoever. They just know the door is opened. Own your reputation. Port your history across dApps. So as we are building this infrastructure out, especially as more privacy tools like this are coming out, even within the next week, I'm imagining, I know I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now, but I've got a full functional test of my own dApp, decentralized app, where I'm going to be uploading all of my content. What we're doing in Telegram, that's all going to migrate over to my own decentralized app. And in here, as more people do that, you will start using the same wallet address, contract address, to identify yourself and self-verify your identity with other dApps as well. And that's how you own your reputation. You have complete control over the private members associations that you are interacting with online. And leave your wallet history behind. So you can go ahead and look into your history to go see what all those transactions are. But the thing is that if you go to any of the scanners and you take your wallet address and you plug that wallet address into the scanner, it also can see the history of your transactions. Again, there's no with Cardano, there's no identifiable information to those transactions. And what's extremely helpful for people is if they follow the protocol that Audrey Lin used to set up her account structure within Eternal last week. I put the video up on YouTube. When you use that strategy, you're even further fragmenting the possibility of people being able to identify you on chain, simply because you're taking equity as it comes in and you're splitting it across 5, 6, 10 different accounts depending on your personal budget. So you can do that, but those transactions are still associated with those wallet addresses. With Night, that goes away. You can go and see your history, but your history isn't something visible on chain. On chain, it'll just be like, oh, look, there's a contract address. We have no idea who's involved. We have no idea the value. We have no idea what wallets are even involved. There's no identifiable information attached to the contract. In the past, that first level that we got, the big breakthrough and the thing that I got super excited about in 2021 was that now there was a way for me to get paid without there being a trace of my identity attached to any of the transactions. But now we want to do that same layer of privacy to the contracts, not just the transactions. So that's freedom of association. Here is how you can exercise freedom of association, that unalienable right, directly on chain now. Freedom of commerce. Lex Mercatoria 101 right here. Block trackers. You can move assets around on chain. Now, if the contract itself is completely anonymized and there's just a contract address with no information publicly available, now you can move assets around and all of those transactions are invisible. Ensure no one else is watching your wallet. Easy enough to do when you know full well that the ledger is completely hidden.
Well, don't the transactions include wallet addresses? In which case the transaction history will show that, reveal that?
Yes, but only to parties of the contract.
Okay.
The contract address would be visible because it's going on to a chain, the Midnight chain. Think of it this way. Night isn't, there's a Night token. But the value of Knight is in the contracts that are being written that have no identifiable information to it. Meaning, while there's a contract address and there are wallet addresses involved, it's the same idea as that fob that has zero knowledge proof. We can see the door was opened. We can see that there was a contract. But there is no information attached to it. So the door is opened, yes. And we can verify through the zero knowledge proof, through mathematical, rational privacy, we don't have to wonder whether or not that fob was even duplicated. We don't have to wonder whether or not that's an unauthorized access. Trustless access. We don't have to know. We just know that whoever opened the door is authorized.
Right.
That's all we need to know. And it's the same way that level of anonymity can now be applied to the contracts. Before, contracts, they were displaying all that information because all the transactions had to go onto the ledger. That's how we got this whole thing in the first place. We want a public ledger. We want that transparency. That's great, wonderful. And we've got that now. But now we go to the next level where we have that same level of anonymity behind the contracts. Because in the past, even on Cardano, when you write a contract, all the parameters of that contract are visible on chain. Who's the sending address? Who's the receiving address? That's technically identifiable information. Even though those addresses might not be attached to identifiable information, like, say, for instance, your name or your email address, we still have a layer of privacy that needs to be over top of that contract. The freedom of commerce is already present. It allows you to do this, but now there's a mechanism, there's a tool that allows us to do it digitally.
So I'm being devil's advocate here, but the powers that be, when you look at that article I read yesterday about those two developers of that
Yes.
that wallet being arrested and in prison. You look at all the fintech issues surrounding every financial transaction around the world. This violates all of that.
Yes.
What is going to stop any government from stepping in and saying, "Nope, we're not going to allow this"?
With whom are they going to forbid these transactions?
I don't know. They could arrest Charles Hoskinson. He's the baby.
That's not even going to accomplish anything because now it's all run by DAOs. Charles is he's a brain. That's about all, and he's even said that outright.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just a brain, and I'm bringing value in where I can see I can bring value. And even Cardano, he was always given such a hard time for the direction that Cardano went, and he's like, you guys clearly have no concept whatsoever of how DAOs work.
Yeah.
Because if I was capable of dictating the direction, then we're in no better position than we were before.
Correct. Yep. I understand that. I'm just trying to know if there's a means by which they could shut this down. Is there?
They'd have to nail down every single one of those nodes.
Yeah, it's hearing, but
it's a great question, but they would have to go and hunt down all of those nodes and then forbid anybody from ever starting one up again. And since it's all open source software on open source, and now the hardware, just imagine how much better the hardware will be and how much more security we're going to be able to apply to that hardware.
Very good.
They are so far behind. That's the great thing. That's what I love about governments, is that they are never current. They're always behind.
Good. Very good.
I think those guys that started that Bitcoin wallet, they were idiots because they didn't start a DAO first.
Okay.
If they wanted to have that security, they would have decentralized themselves.
Of course. That's
Yeah.
probably the it doesn't matter. Anything that is centralized can be shut down.
Yep, totally. Unequivocally. Yeah, absolutely. Bid to win. This one's an interesting one. In commerce, especially within the DAO ecosystem, there is a methodology that is used to approve finances. So, a financial transaction. So we'll use Cardano as an example. If you go to Project Catalyst, let's go there now. Project Catalyst, I think it's .com. Nope, it is not. Let's see if it's IO. Yeah, here we go. So projectcatalyst.io is the site. Let me bring that over. You can see that on the screen. Project Catalyst is the platform with which Cardano, the world's largest decentralized autonomous organization, brings governance to the treasury. And anybody can get involved. You just got to sign up. And when you sign up, right now they're actually in, you can see at the very top, Fund 15 is now live. I actually did a proposal in Fund 9, got approved, and that was actually my first contract in crypto back at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. And so what they do is that you bring forward your ideas and you say, hey, I see this wonderful innovation that is possible by utilizing this beautiful tool, ADA. And you pitch it. People review it. You get critiqued and you make improvements. I started with Fund 7 and I didn't get anything the first 2 rounds. It wasn't until Fund 9 that I actually got a contract. So got Fund 9. First money came in, and it was mind-blowing to me because I knew that it was possible. But oh my gosh, I'm actually a part of this now, helping develop something for the long term to help boost this ecosystem with ideas of my own. And as a result of that contract, or as a result of that proposal, the entire DAO voted on it. The vote takes I think it's like a day. And that's it. You got 1 day to make your vote. And once that vote is done, what occurs is the Treasury then allocates all of that bounty, they call it. These are called pools of bounty. And that bounty then gets distributed to all of the people that won the contracts. Well, that process is done through bidding. So my proposal, the proposal that I wrote. Oh, where did Midnight go here? I had Midnight. There it is. So the process is to place a bid. My application with Project Catalyst was a bid. But now you can, with this model, yes, you can submit your competitive offers, but now you can keep your valuation model secret. When I was going through that process, I had to give a detailed account of where I planned on spending every one of those ADA. Not that that's bad. I get it. They're bringing governance to a treasury that's over $33 billion. So of course they're going to need to know exactly where the money's going. And because of the blockchain, it's easy enough to track. However, now they're taking that next level. You don't have to show every last line of detail. Now, the way that it'll be is that you simply share what it is that you intend to do and the milestones that you expect will be passed in your project. So you don't have to go in granular detail of every one of those milestones. I plan on spending 4 hours over here and 8 hours over there and 12 hours over there. Now, you can keep your valuation model secret. You can still create it. You can still put it on there, but now you can privatize it.
When you talk about valuation model, you're not talking about value, you're talking about the model by which you value something. Is that correct?
That's right. And that would be something which, when I don't like you use this word, but I don't know of a better way to put it, you would include your intellectual property, because how you do it and how much time you spend on it could very well be reflective of your intellectual property. And your intellectual property ought to be considered when valuing your model of work. Number 3, protect your worth. Receive global payments and don't tell the world. Lastly, freedom of expression. And this is where I get excited, because for the last 3 years, I've been working with Wayne Peters, citizen journalist here in Canada. Likely the most, I don't know, I want to say the tip of the spear when it comes to journalism and reporting the corruption that's happening in Canada. One of the posts, this was back in September, it's actually September 7th, 2021. He infiltrated one of the Teamster meetings with CN Rail. CN Rail, their unions were forcing people to go get the experimental bioweapon of mass destruction injected into their bloodstreams. And he infiltrated that meeting where an executive admitted outrightly to the union members that the only reason why they were going through with the mandates and making everybody go through that horror was because he was offered a position on Senate as a liberal. Wayne exposed that, put that video on Rumble of all places, because, Rumble is more free speech oriented, and it was gone, taken down, and his account had a strike against him within the first hour. Freedom of expression with this type of contract. Now, anybody can create content and have it prove the provenance. You can confirm your data sources and protect all the metadata. So if there's stuff like, for instance, a whistleblower's name, it's part of the contract. You can now hide that. But you also have zero knowledge proof, which means you can prove its authenticity without having to reveal identity. This is the same work that Julian Assange did, where he was protecting the sources through WikiLeaks. He was protecting the sources, and that's why he was such a threat, because he could verify the sources and protect them. That's what he built. That's why he was such a threat. Verify the truth. You can cryptographically verify content on whether or not it's original. You can cryptographically verify the content whether or not it's true simply by peer review. And of course, nobody gets their data shared. Signal validity. Sign official communications and prevent imposters and scams. We were just talking about scam earlier, Audrey. And she's now on the phone with somebody. But earlier, not even an hour ago, she was dealing with a scam that she was in years ago and is hoping to get some of it back now that some remedy has been brought forward. Well, now you can prevent the scam from ever happening. Why? Because you're using zero knowledge proof protocols. I don't need to know who you are. I simply need to know whether or not you're allowed to be here. Signing official communications. I mean, freedom of expression involves your ability to bring your voice forward in governance. If you have a local market and you've got some silver that's backing your local currency, your community currency, well, you want to be able to bring governance to that. So in the same way, Project Catalyst brings governance to that $33 billion fund for Cardano. In the same way, now you can bring governance to your own little tiny market community with full protection of privacy. That gives you the freedom of expression. You can practice that now without having to be scared about what it is that you're doing and how it is that you're accomplishing it.
Paul, that was a really understandable. I don't know, something landed when you said you don't have to know, you don't know who it is, but you know they have the right to be there. Mm-hmm. That little thing really, I just want you to know that for me, that really landed so that it clicked. Oh, because it is a new concept, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
trust is who it is, not that they have a right to be. I don't know that. Anyway, it landed for me, and I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thank you. I like it when I can. Sometimes this brain goes crazy, and I don't know if I'm being clear. So thank you for that feedback.
I think the issue with any idea is to have tidbits of information that connect the dots, because sometimes there is a disconnect. Somebody
Yes.
doesn't know how you go from here. How did you go from that point to that point? There's no connection. So that is the challenge in communication.
It is. Yeah.
What is the difference from what it is now, or where I am now, and what this new concept is, and how to integrate it? So
That's yeah.
what I'm looking for. Is how do I integrate? What's the difference between Midnight and Cardano? What's the difference? And so that helps me to discriminate instead of it being one amorphous mass.
Right. Yeah. And what happens, and I resonate with what you're saying there, Maureen. What happens is when there's lack of clarity into what the coin is doing, to me, it just gets piled into this anonymous mountain of coins that really have no utility or purpose in my mind, because there's no clarity as to what it does. Whereas this path here, there's perfect clarity as to what it's doing, perfect clarity as to what the purpose of this chain is, and it's giving people a clear line of sight to privatize their data. And last night in Next Gen Merchants, we really dove into the importance of privatizing your data and then tokenizing it. And that by doing so, you automatically safeguard your wealth in perpetuity. Having a tool that allows us to do that is just, it's priceless. It's priceless. People are like, oh, look at Knight, it's not doing anything. That's when you go on Twitter, of course, people are always so critical of any price action that occurs. Oh, it's going up too fast. It's going to be a rug pull. Oh, look, it's going down too low. It's a scam. They have no idea the value. The chart does not reflect the value. It simply reflects the price. Any questions, comments, things you like? Things you'd like me to check out, maybe back on the charts again? We could look at other assets. We didn't look at silver and gold because I just jumped right into Knight.
Are you going to finish that scrolling through the screen, or?
I could. Yeah, I was only going to just do those three because for me, those are the pillar of what allows us to have a thriving society.
Okay.
If you've got those three things and people are able to exercise those things, you've got peace right around the corner.
Okay.
But would you like me to keep? What's that?
Is Midnight already a DAO?
Midnight is run by a DAO.
It's run by a DAO. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. So the DAO is driving the vehicle. In other words, is that correct?
Currently, yeah. And anybody that holds Knight can bring governance.
Okay.
So I know I came in late today, and I've been trying to recover is what I've been trying.
Yeah.
So just to jump back in and what is a DAO? Is it DAO? Is that how it's spelled? Or?
Yes, yeah. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization.
Okay, all right. And of course the similarity with, the spiritual path, or the
Yes.
philosophy. It is wonderful because there's a corollary in that as well. So,
Yeah.
which pleases my soul.
It is well. with my soul. That's a good hymn. All right, here we go. Going onwards, let's go to the next section, because yeah, I definitely don't mind reading through more of this. Optimized for rapid integration. Midnight transforms niche privacy technology into standard engineering resource. We keep the steep cryptographic learning curve with compact, the smart contract language based on TypeScript. This accelerates development life cycles and network adoption opportunities for millions of developers worldwide. What I really like about this, because I'm looking at this, guys. I've got a dApp in development right now, and I'm fully authenticating with Cardano. If you've got a Cardano wallet or a wallet that can hold ADA, you can connect to my dApp now. But this is totally different, because I shouldn't say that. What's the upgrade to this is that with Cardano, you got to have some sort of a background. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to do some digging, learning. But with Midnight, you can go build. Let's go to how to, I think. Maybe it's tutorials. Build from scratch. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Maybe it's in here. Where is it? There is a tutorial. Here we go. Where was it? There, I've got it. Maybe it's not in here. Maybe it's in down here. No. How to operate validation. Okay, developers. There was an actual school, Developer Hub. Where did that, yeah, I thought it was, oh, maybe it's under Docs. No, under Developer Hub. That's where it is. Yep, okay, yeah, here we go. So you can join the Midnight Discord. Inside there's tons of people. They're happy to help. Like the other day when I was like, how come Midnight's not on the market yet? And they said, oh, there was an update probably tomorrow. Just watch for it. So they're very helpful. And so you can join there. And then we've got the quick start. Is this the one? Yeah, you know what? This is probably it. Yeah, here we go. Prerequisites. This is all you need to get started. Download Lace Midnight Preview Wallet. So Lace, the wallet we're already familiar with, has a beta version. And you can install that beta version and start working with Midnight. They have a developers portal, or a test net, it's called. So you can build things and not have any consequence to whatever you're building. There's nothing written to the official chain. It's just all on the test net.
So what exactly would you build in that kind of environment? Because I'm thinking about everything that we're doing on this side over here in my neck of the woods.
Yep.
Projects, financing, investments, that kind of thing. What do you build in there?
All right, so right now my development environment is down. I was thinking if it was still up, I was going to show you. But what you build are applications for, well, you can build lots of things, but typically speaking, this is to put your data behind a wall. And that wall is the fob at the building door, right? Now, I'm going to go to the chalkboard here so that I can draw it a little bit.
When you speak of fob, you're thinking of like I can swipe. Anybody could swipe a fob at the door, but nobody knows. It doesn't display who that individual is. The system knows who it is, but it's not revealed.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I'm going to go into here and just draw this real quickly. So here we have a website. And the website, it's got its all things. Maybe there's a video here. A little bit of opt-in with a button. And then text. right? So there's the website. But this website, when people come to it, they can look at it publicly, and the content is available to them because it's, this is a sales page. This is something that I'm going to use to draw people to contract with me. But if they're coming to the site without authentication, I don't want them to see the private information. Like, we've got masterminds, right? The masterminds, all of those recordings, they are on decentralized storage right now using storage.io. And those videos can be embedded directly from that decentralized server onto the website. And so those masterminds, they're going to go, and there's going to be a library of them, and you'll be able to go in and log them and go and see all of them from the very beginning, an archive. But the thing is that those masterminds, I don't want them visible. I don't want people to be able to just open the door and walk in. I need them to have a fob. I need them to have an access point. And that access point, because of Web3, is now validated authentication. That's the term. So now, instead of them having to use a username and a password, they are using their wallet address as the identifier to unlock this content. Now, of course, masterminds, those are for the paid members. So in order for them to be a paid member and have the right signature in their fob wallet, they're going to have to buy an NFT, non-fungible token. That non-fungible token sits inside their wallet, and as long as that NFT is present when they come to look at the mastermind page, the mastermind page will reveal itself. I have no idea who they are. I don't keep their username and their password. That's old Web 2.0 bullshit. We don't need to use that anymore. Now they have, this is their self. This is the method, the mechanism, the leverage that they're applying to self-validate their authenticity in order to unlock what's behind the contract. I paid for this. I want my product delivered. That's part of the contract. So now I'm just having the machines manage and gate this content behind that self-validated identifier, the NFT.
So paid members, when a member comes to you, you know who they are, obviously. I would presume that. There's got to be a point at which there is some disclosure of identity.
Only by choice. Only by voluntary disclosure.
Yes. So,
yeah.
But nobody becomes a member without that, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So at that initial point, you know who the individual is to become a paid member.
I don't. Not yet. No. I mean, it's right now. Yes, it's how it is, because in order to get that NFT right now, people have to meet with me.
Okay, so let me look at it from a fully developed system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want just anybody to become part of our group,
Right.
organization. Okay, so we have to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some validation, some face-to-face, or that kind of validation.
Right.
Okay, so in that sense, we have to know who they are.
Correct.
Following that, the NFT can do it all.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. In that case there, what I would do is that I would have that screening process, whatever that is for you.
Yep.
And at the end of that screening process, you would go ahead, mint that NFT, and send it to their wallet while you're on the call.
Gotcha.
That's how I would do that.
Very good.
Now, outside of that, if you have a system like what I'm doing for Next Gen Merchants, at first, I'm vetting people, for sure. But eventually, I want people to be able to connect and just connect their wallet. They don't need an NFT. Just connect their wallet, because there's another thing. They've got masterminds, but there's another type of post, another type of content that's going to be saved and formatted on this DApp, and that's walkthroughs. We've got walkthroughs for, how to start up a Lace wallet. Maureen, you've got some PDFs of some of the work that we've done together. Audrey Lynn last week, she set up her Eternal wallet for her personal financing and budgeting. We did the whole thing. So she's got the means now to go in and automate smart contracts with that. That'll be the next rendition, the next unfolding of this process. But all of those walkthroughs, I want them in sequence that helps people recognize how they can exercise their sovereignty.
Correct.
This will be free. I'm not going to force people to pay me to have this. This is the stuff I want them to have so they can go forth and multiply. And so, leverage this idea. Don't just follow me. Take these principles. Here's how you practice these principles. Go forth and practice them in your daily life. These walkthroughs, walkthrough number 1 is going to be, level 1. Level 2. So on and so forth. Well, when they are on the website, on the front end of the website, they're going to see content. They're going to see anything that I put up there as public. They won't be able to comment unless they connect their wallet. Once they connect their wallet, then they can comment. Once they start commenting, they can earn points. One comment will probably be 5 points. If they like it, that'll probably be 1 point. Because it's not worth as much. Comments are worth way more from an engagement perspective. So the more points you get, level 1 will unlock once you have 15 points. Level 2 will unlock once you have 30 points, and so on and so forth. So now, all you have to do to pay for this premium content is to pay the only currency that matters, which is attention. So your attention ends up being tokenized in the form of advancing your progress through this journey. Eventually, once you're done level 3, level 4, there will be a call to action. Hey, you want to continue this journey and maybe join the masterminds? Get the NFT, and that's your next attention token that allows you access to more content.
But in that case, it's not paid with points. It's paid with ADA.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep, you got it. So that is a larger deployment that you could use, and it would be, that would be obviously a different purpose website. For Shift, I wouldn't do this, right? Like you say, you want to vet people, you want to make sure, do that manually, issue that NFT manually, and that's your own biological proof that they're validated and authenticated.
Now, in that case, every member could have a different NFT. Is that correct?
Ideally, in fact.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree, preferably. And in that sense, we would know once that NFT logs in, doesn't matter where it logs in, we know who's logged in.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you don't want that data, and you can prevent that data from being logged.
Yep,
Yeah.
very good.
All right. That's what I wanted to cover today. I wanted to settle things in a little bit more with Knight so that we have a bigger picture of what that is all about. I wanted to that was the big thing. And then, of course, thank you for bringing us down the path on, what does this look like? How does this authentication, how do these smart contracts work in function, in practicality? So great. Thank you. Great questions. Anything else?
Do you just have a few minutes after, Paul?
Oh yeah, guys, this is this is something that I started a couple weeks ago. Didn't do it last week because nobody was here. But after market analysis on Thursdays, I'm just going to stay in the studio until 2:30 my time. So another 2 hours, or whatever it is. Yeah, another 2.5 hours. So this will be our weekly co-work session. If there's something you want to work on, you just come on back into here after market analysis or stay here afterwards and we'll continue working. Whoever's not a next gen merchant at that point will be booted out because it'll be just for us.
So of course I want to go through midnight, but I feel like I've had my limit right now, and
Yeah.
but maybe tomorrow I'll feel better. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I would like to
Reach out.
to be available tomorrow, Paul.
You reach out to me. We'll see how the day goes. We're getting ready for a big market next weekend,
Oh,
or this weekend coming up. And so there's a lot of prep things I have to do. But message me. Just send me a text.
how about like
And-
if I take a rest for an hour and come back?
Yeah, sure.
Would that work? I don't know who else is going to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be here.
Rest and see if I can take care of it. I'd love to get this. What I'd love to do is take care of, in, the people that are, with me, our group.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know what they want to do.
You know what? It'd be good for us just to get an inventory of what's there. We can
Yeah.
also check to see the timeline for the thaw, because a lot of those tokens are going to be locked up for the first little while. But we can bring them together and let's present it next time. Next Dragon Riders, why don't we present that as, hey guys, look, we started a treasury already. We didn't even know it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk with them at 1. I'm on a call.
Okay.
So, all right. So then,
All right.
see. So I'll text you and see what time, or message. How would you like?
Yeah. Yeah. Just send me a quick text message.
To? Okay. All right. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
You bet. Bye bye. All right. Well, if that's it, I am going to go ahead and end the stream. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, thanks so much for checking this out. We're going to be closing things off here. And if you'd like information about how to get involved, send me a message on YouTube there. Just leave a comment and I'll get in touch with you. Talk to you later.